Scott Brocious scheduled to lead off in the bottom of the 7th. But Torrey goes to his bench, and Jose Vizcaino, a switch hitter, will bat for Brocious.
And Paniagua basically throws a fastball in a splitter, but he uses his fastball very well and 90% of the time.
Ball 1 to Vizcaino. Paniagua from the stretch. Strike 1, 1-1.
Vizcaino played a lot down the stretch. He was actually the second baseman while Knobloch was DHing. And then when the playoffs started, Soho played most of the time at second base.
Ground ball. Olerud can't get it. McLemore does. Takes to first, but not in time. And when the Yankees go out to play the 8th, Vizcaino will be at second base, and Soho will move from second to third.
I think you have to bunt Knobloch in this situation. You have to try to...
He squares. He bunts it foul.
And it's not easy to bunt a guy like Paniagua, who throws about 90 miles an hour with some movement. Knobloch drops the bat underneath, and that's why he pops it up. A lot of times when a hitter's going to bunt, you try to throw the fastball up because that's the toughest pitch to bunt. You usually will pop it up.
Vizcaino back easily. Knobloch at the plate. 0 for 3 tonight. The one sacrifice bunt is misleading because Knobloch can bunt. He's always hit at or near the top of the lineup. He squares again. He gets it down. A beauty up the first base line. Wilson's throw just in time to McLemore covering. And Vizcaino is in scoring position with 1 out. All right, here's Jeter. Taking strike 1.
Paniagua has a good sinking fastball. You can see there. The bottom fell out of that, and it was about 90 miles an hour.
Paniagua's 0-1 pitch. After checking Vizcaino, he comes in tight on Jeter. Vizcaino pinch hitting for Brocious. Beat out an infield hit. Knobloch sacrificed him to second. Fouled away, 1-2. Paniagua started with the Expos. He's been with the Mariners the past 3 years. Jeter's 0 for 2 with a walk tonight. Wow, Paniagua not only has gotten him out, he struck him out almost every time. Two balls and 2 strikes.
Well, if you're Lou Piniella, you're going to have a decision to make anyway. If he's able to get Jeter out, then you have David Justice up. He's got Arthur Rhodes throwing in the pen.
The 2-2 pitch. And Jeter hangs in. There's Rhodes, who was roughed up the last time he worked from the Yankee Stadium mound in the 8th inning of Game 2. Bouncing ball left side. It gets through. Vizcaíno had retreated to second and can only make third. And there's the whole book in terms of Rhodes and Justice. 4 for 11 with a homer. Vizcaíno is at third. Jeter is at first. Justice, who's 1 for 3, is at the plate with 1 out.
I don't think they'll run Jeter in this situation. They're going to give Justice a chance to drive in the tying run from third rather than risk having Jeter thrown out trying to steal the base.
He lays off and takes a ball.
Lou Piniella said Rhodes can throw Justice a fastball. He just has to keep it down.
Rhodes, the longtime Oriole. Yankee fans remember him well. This is his first year with Seattle. His 1-0 pitch to Justice. Taken high.
One thing about the Yankees, they just keep coming after you, and that's why they're such a good ball club. They were behind 4-0, and they just have come back to a 4-3. Now they've stayed 1 run back for the last 3 innings. Now all of a sudden, here they are putting pressure on you again here in the 7th.
Swing and a pop that's out of play.
Well, he gets a fastball, but this one is down a little bit and moving away from him. And Justice not able to get all of it. Moving away, and he fouls it off. He contacted right out in front of the plate. Good swing.
The 2-1 pitch. 3 balls and a strike. They checked down at third. He didn't go around. Mark Hirschbeck confirming the initial judgment of brother John Hirschbeck back at the plate.
Well, Justice has an idea, but he's able to stop the bat. The Mariners bench thought he went.
Now Justice sitting on a 3-1 pitch, which is coming. Swinging a long drive to right. This one is on its way. This one is gone. And for Rhodes, Justice was not tempered by mercy. A strike to Williams. You think about this inning, and Lou Piniella will, for the entire winter, unless the Mariners rally. A dinky little infield hit by Vizcaíno. A nice sacrifice bunt by Knobloch. A seeing-eye single by Jeter, and he has to take Paniagua out. At least he thought he did. He brings in Rhodes, and Justice burned him, just as he has 2 out of 3 times in this series now. Just as he has in many of their head-to-head confrontations. Well, and this year against left-handers, Justice has homered about once every 9 at-bats. So, as every big league manager knows, their moves are apt to be questioned. This one will be, and Piniella knows it.
Well, he figured he had to get the left-hander in there against Justice, but as you mentioned, Justice has had a lot of success off of Rhodes before, and Rhodes not able to get the curveball over put him in jeopardy.
Williams goes the opposite way, and it kicks up chalk down the line. He rounds first, but he's held there as Ibanez is on it quickly.
And maybe El Duque has a charmed life. He was trailing 4-0 in this ball game. Now he leads 6-4.
Hit the opposite way by Martinez, and it lands fair. Bounces into the seats for a double. You think about the Yankees at mid-season being interested in Sammy Sosa and then in Juan Gonzalez, and eventually they, quote, settled for David Justice. Seems that has turned out pretty well.
But Justice came over and did a great job. He hit 20 home runs and drove in 60 runs, which was the most of anyone on the Yankees after he arrived. And a lot of people felt that he was their most valuable player at that point.
O'Neill is 1 for 3, an RBI single in the 4th. A hit here would bust it open. Rhodes works to him, and he lays off ball 1.
First pitch to Paul O'Neill is down and out of the strike zone.
A bouncing ball toward the hole and through. Williams scores. Martinez being waved home. Ibanez throw to the plate is offline. It's 8-4 New York. Soho's the 9th man to bat. And there's still only 1 out.
And if you're the Yankees, Paul O'Neill had a chance to hit against the left-handed pitcher, and he was able to come through with a base hit. True enough, it wasn't a sharp line drive, but it's a base hit.
Two and 0. If Seattle had been able to hold this lead, the Mets would have spent the night wondering whether or not they'd have to fire up a charter to Seattle instead of just hop on the subway. It's beginning to look as if the first Subway Series in 44 years will commence here in this ballpark Saturday night. Games 1 and 2 are in the American League City. The middle games 3, 4, 5 will be at Shea, and 6 and 7, if necessary, back in the American League City. Mesa falls behind 3-0 and complicates matters by walking Soho to load the bases. How often do big innings start with little things? This Caeno's infield hit, following Knobloch's nifty sacrifice. A little trickler through the left side by Derek Jeter, which prompted Piniella to remove Paniagua, bring on Rhodes, whose 3-1 pitch was crushed by Justice, which seems to have effectively crushed the pennant hopes of the Mariners.
Well, David Justice has had a lot of big hits in the postseason. He had the home run in Game 7 to give the Atlanta Braves their first World Championship.
In left field, Javier makes the catch. Posada tags, and there's no play on him. Tack on another. It's a 6-run 7 and a 9-4 lead. A strike to Knobloch. So in Game 2, El Duque trailed 1-0 when his teammates came up in the bottom of the 8th. They exploded for 7. He got the win. He is the pitcher of record as they score 6 times in the bottom of the 7th here. Rolled foul. So, barring a Seattle miracle, Hernandez stands to see his career postseason record go to 8-0.
Well, he impressed me tonight because he didn't have his great stuff. He didn't have his great control, but he used his smarts. Because I felt in the 7th inning he had run out of gas, but he was able to reach back, get just enough on his fastball and spot it well so that he was able to get out of the inning.
The 0-2 pitch taken high. The man of the hour in the Bronx. Justice was an important part of both those big innings. Leadoff double in Game 2. Turnaround 3-run homer here in Game 6. Big smiles for Justice and the hitting coach, Chris Chambliss. And the 1-2 pitch from Mesa to Knobloch, blocked by Wilson. Full count, and the runners will be on the move. Jeter on deck. There they go, and here it comes, and they're loaded again.
The Mets are going to have 2 left-handed pitchers, Hampton and Leiter, who will pitch at least 4 of those 7 games if it goes 7. And I still think that left-handed pitchers have a better chance against the Yankees than the right-handers do.
Unless they're named Arthur Rhodes in this series.
Correct.
Well, it certainly applies, or seems to. 6 outs away from the long-awaited Subway Series. 0-2 now to Jeter. O'Neill at third, Soho at second, Knobloch at first. 6 runs home in the 7th. And with 2 out, the 0-2 pitch to Jeter. Got him looking. But the Yankees score 6 times on 6 hits, and this was the biggest one. A 3-run homer on a 3-1 pitch, which changed it from 4-3 Seattle to